Hello everyone, my name is Faiza. I'm a Pakistani and a UAE resident, and today I would like to share my experience with you on how I made it back to Dubai after being stuck in my home country for around 4 months. Um, I visited my hometown on the 5th of March 2020. The trip was supposed to last for around 2 weeks, and 2 days before my flight, UAE announced that it was not accepting residents back into the country due to the current pandemic. And I was devastated for not being able to return back. A few days later, the UAE Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced that all UAE residents were required to fill an application for an entry permit to be allowed back into the country. Normally, a residence visa is sufficient, but due to the current spread of coronavirus, all the UAE residents are required to fill out an application to be allowed back. I had to go through several rounds of filling the application. The form was amended a couple of times and it was frustrating because every time you had to fill up a new application form which would either render no result or end up being rejected. My anxiety grew when flights were suspended to and from Pakistan. I did have my fair share of breaking points when I doubted myself on ever returning to UAE. By mid-June 2020, UAE Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced a new form should be filled, and the response time was reduced to 48 hours. Dubai residents are required to fill up the GDRFA form, while all the other residents are required to fill up the ICA form. After submitting my application, I did receive a response within 48 hours, but it was unfortunately a rejection. Immediately, I filled up a fresh application form, and within 48 hours, I received the approval. This was the 7th time that I had filled up my application that had rendered a successful result. My approval was granted on a Thursday, and when I checked the flight schedule, there were only 2 flights operating from Karachi to UAE, which was from Air Arabia. So one was scheduled for Friday and the other one was for Tuesday. Now my target was to book a seat on the flight that was scheduled for Friday because of the current increase in the number of cases. I wasn't sure whether the flights would be suspended or not. I mean, after Tuesday, there was no flight appearing on Air Arabia's flight schedule. That was my best catch. And it was a very wise decision because I booked the Friday flight and I managed to arrive in UAE. And just yesterday, that was the 28th of June, it was announced that all flights from Pakistan to UAE are suspended due to the increase in cases. After coordinating between friends, travel agents, and Sharjah airport, it was finally confirmed that me being a Dubai resident could enter UAE through Sharjah. The confusion was because normally a UAE resident can enter through any port, but because the applications were segregated for Dubai and residents of the other Emirates, I was unsure whether I would be allowed to enter UAE through the Sharjah airport. After coordinating between friends and travel agents in both Karachi and Dubai, and after confirmation from Sharjah airport, it was now confirmed that I could enter UAE through Sharjah. Under normal circumstances, UAE residents are allowed to enter the country through any airport in UAE. The confusion was caused as a separate application form was created for Dubai residents, and residents of all the other Emirates were required to fill another form. So as I've explained earlier, Dubai residents are supposed to fill up the GDFRA form, while all the other residents are supposed to fill up the ICA form. So what do you do next after you've received the entry permit? You just have to book your ticket online. You can do it yourself, or you can request a travel agent to book your ticket. Please carry 2 copies of your entry permit just in case both the departure and arrival airports require the same. You will have to fill up a health declaration form which is provided to you at the time of checking in. After you arrive in UAE, you have to present the health declaration form at the testing center, and a swab test will be conducted through your nostril. Before my flight on the 26th of June, at that time I was not required to get a COVID test done. But as of yesterday, that is June 28th, all Pakistanis that are returning to UAE are required to get a mandatory test done for COVID-19. You will only be allowed to enter the country if your test result is negative. Also, you can enter through any emirate, as I've explained earlier, provided you have the entry permit. In my case, I had arrived in Sharjah, however, I live in Dubai. Please note that after your arrival in UAE, you are required to wear a mask at all times when you leave your house. There is a penalty of 3,000 dirhams if you are found without a mask. Please keep an extra mask with you and a bottle of sanitizer to protect yourself. So how has flying changed after this pandemic? Well, since I'm a travel and food blogger, I travel frequently and have been privileged to experience some of the best services the airlines have to offer. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, there have been drastic changes, such as you have to arrive at the airport 4 hours prior to your departure. Airport lounges are closed. Alternate seats are occupied in both the airport lounge and on flight. Meals are packaged in disposable wrappers. Air Arabia had offered me a grilled halloumi sandwich, a date bar and a bottle of water. Cabin crew are fully covered with protective gear. The following are not available on the flight: separate beverages, pillows and blankets, and duty-free service. So what happens after my arrival in UAE? Now, since I had landed at the Sharjah airport, I can brief you of that process only. After I exited the plane, a shuttle bus had taken me to a testing facility. After presenting my health declaration form, a medical representative entered my details on the system based on my passport and Emirates ID. I was handed over a testing kit and was told to visit the second medical representative who would conduct the swab test through my nostril. Once that was done, I had to board the shuttle bus again, which took me to the immigration counter. And the process from there is simple. You just have to present your entry permit and your passport. The immigration officer will clear you upon presenting these documents. You can collect your baggage and you're free to exit the airport. After you exit the airport, you can either take a cab or you can request your friends or your family to pick you up. Please note that I had carried only one hard copy of my entry permit, which was submitted at the Karachi airport. When I arrived at the Sharjah airport, the immigration officer was not accepting my soft copy. I had to contact the Air Arabia staff, who were generous enough to arrange a hard copy for me, and only then I was allowed to clear my immigration and leave for home. So how long are you required to remain in quarantine for? It is mandatory for UAE residents to remain in quarantine for 14 days. If you are unable to self-isolate at home, then you can book a hotel or a facility, but all the expenses have to be borne by the traveler.